Hey, what's up? It's been a while. So today in this video, I wanted to bring you guys a 2-for-1 deal, where we take a look at 2 stages as opposed to 1. Reason for this is that Enchanted Egress and Spellcasting Summits are very alike to each other. One's in Season 1, one's in Season 2. Let's compare and contrast and see which one is truly better. Enchanted Egress was widely considered one of the best stages available to the players in Season 1, next to greats like Mossy Mountain and Parkway Pier, if not the best stage available. The reason for this was behind the foundation of choice, seen at the start here, where you could take one of 2 paths. One path would take you to Soul Speed Boots, which would allow you to tread over the Soul Sand faster, or you could just wing it and go on your typical feet. There was a choice to be made here, but it was a choice that only took 5 seconds to make if you went with the Soul Speed Boots. So already, the premise of this map was excellent because it offered 2 different playstyles and 2 different routes to go based on what you prefer. Based off the first 10 seconds of the stage alone, the foundation of this system was a success because it allowed for greater replayability and better exploration than previous stages because there was only one way to play them, so as a result of that they were completely linear. This was something I had to give good thought into when I was designing Spellcasting Summits. Sav couldn't be a part of that project because Spellcasting Summits was just a Christmas gift given to her because she loved and missed Enchanted Egress so much after it got deleted. Being the first Chapter 3 of Season 1 stage, Enchanted Egress did an excellent job at setting up a storyline and a design to that chapter as a whole. Chapter 3 was based off the idea of, after the player destroying the core and killing Annie whilst also freeing her from being possessed, it caused a bit of destruction within a timeline that the player had to travel through these outlandish places to restore. It is both adventurous, meaningful, and as a whole, a memorable chapter, and Enchanted Egress bears a lot of that credit. First impressions are everything, and with Enchanted Egress, you cannot go wrong with a first impression. Enchanted Egress has a wonderful atmosphere, a great color palette, a great concept, and is just all around a blast to play. However, it isn't perfect. While it is an excellent stage overall, it does have a few problems that we need to address. Firstly, it's short. And not even like Parkway Pier short. No, it's shorter than that, to the point where you can get it done in under 120 just like I did. And that for a stage is not good. Because while Sunshine Seas in Season 2, which was a major success, is only about the same length as Enchanted Egress, that has a purpose to serve as more of a tutorial than anything else. And if you only need 80-90 seconds to learn something, then 80-90 is perfectly appropriate. But for something that's supposed to be the 11th stage in a series, this is not good whatsoever. With Sunshine Seas, it's a tutorial stage that is set to teach you about the new functions of Season 2 that you would not be used to or aware of throughout Season 1. Whereas on the other hand, Enchanted Egress is just the 11th repetition of something you've done 10 times before. You should know how stages work at this point, and so a stage this short doesn't have any purpose to it other than it's just short. And another flaw that I have is a design error. You look at this map and you assume that the water is hazardous and you're trying to actively avoid it. Yet a shortcut has you treading through it with no indication that that specific part is not hazardous while the rest in fact is. So that required some clarification to really make work, except, well, there isn't any. So you're just left to guess. You see somebody else do it and then suddenly you assume it's okay and you do it too. But that's the only way to know that this shortcut is in fact viable. Despite its slight imperfections, Enchanted Egress is an excellent stage and deserves to be regarded as one of the best amongst the stages in general. Though its gameplay is a choice, it is still fantastic to be able to choose what type of approach you want to take, if you're willing to give away a few seconds to get a faster footing later on, or if you just want to zip right through the stage just as you are. That choice is yours to make. It's not a map that is overly complicated or overly difficult. It is simple by concept and a medium difficulty upon execution. It's a perfect balance of fun with challenge. And as a result, those two constructs, they help each other, and they allow the map to be fleshed out all that much further. Like I said, not a perfect map, but one that deserves a hell of a lot of praise. I'm just joking with you.
I'm hanging on to the other side. I won't give up till the end of Welcome to the mind of a different kind, where we've been growing so late. Think I'm on 11, but I'm on a 9. Yes, you don't really know me. Running from the past is a losing game. It never brings you glory. Been down this road before, already know the story.
Welcome to Spellcasting Summits, the superior version of Enchanted Egress, if you will. What makes it superior, you may ask? Let's start with the overall aesthetic. It's less claustrophobic. It feels much better to run through here not knowing that the walls are like 4 blocks apart from each other. There's more emphasis on bigger landscapes here, and there are some parts from the old Enchanted Egress to make a return, such as what you're seeing in game right now. When I created this map, like I said, for a gift for Sap for Christmas, I knew that I had to innovate quite a bit. I had to put extra emphasis on speed, because before, though speed was great, there wasn't enough benefits to using soul speed in particular, because honestly, it was a lot faster just to go without. In this though, it's not so clearly defined which is better. One player might believe that taking soul speed would be better for them personally, because maybe they're more into linear pathways and aren't so great with parkour, but players who are better with their footing might decide to go without because it might be more efficient for them to just jump from block to block throughout the stage. There's an element of choice that has not only returned but has been expanded here, like most concepts in sequels should. It is also worth noting that this stage is designed to reward you with speed and momentum if you know how to master it and utilize it to its fullest. Speaking of which, it's not just soul speed you want to utilize if you're looking for the fastest speed possible, because Frostwalker makes an appearance here too. And the best thing about it is there's plenty of water littered throughout the snow section for you to whiz by. But if you are smart enough and you are willing to take the challenge, you can utilize both boots and switch on the fly to optimize your route throughout the entire stage and get the best rank possible. It is a harder stage and it does test your mental capacity a little bit more, but the reward is definitely there if you are willing to go for it. What is amazing about this is that Enchanted Egress already had 2 types of playstyles, with soul speed or without. In this, you could go without either boots, with only soul speed, with only Frostwalker, or both boots. So there are 4 different ways to play this stage, and the replayability goes through the roof. There's tons of testing and optimizing to be done here. This stage is something that you can practically make an experience for yourself on every time you play it, because there's just so many variations of ways to play it. And that makes it extraordinary because it's one of the first true customizable stages for the player. It is also worth noting that Spellcasting Summits brings resolve to an issue that Enchanted Egress had. Maybe not fully resolving the issue, but definitely remedying it somewhat. And that's the length of Enchanted Egress. Enchanted Egress was about 80 seconds in length. If you are speedrunning this map without going for score paths, which will not get you the best rank, you can finish this map in about 1 minute 50 seconds to 2 minutes. However, if you want to go for the score path and get the highest rank possible, you'll be spending about 2 minutes 10 seconds, 2 minutes 15 seconds. Which means that if you are getting the full experience from this map, you will have about a minute extra time compared to Enchanted Egress. Does that mean that the issue's completely gone? No, because I'll admit anything under 2 minutes is still a little short, but it definitely is an improvement nonetheless. It is also worth noting that through its length, nothing feels too stale here. You don't feel like you're in one area too long, desiring to get to another, or just being in the snow area and waiting for the stage to end. Both parts of the stage feel like they're properly paced, and that they both share about 50% of the length. One isn't overly dominating the other, and that's great for aesthetic balance and overall gameplay balance. There isn't a whole lot of new things to say about Spellcasting Summits that I had not already mentioned pertaining to Enchanted Egress. Enchanted Egress was the spark of a stage in this format, and Spellcasting Summit just took the torch and ran with it far. It expanded upon everything: the aesthetic, the customization, the time it takes to beat, the difficulty. Everything here is just Enchanted Egress, but better. I don't believe that Spellcasting Summit is perfect, as the score pads are a little bit sporadically placed and can be a bit of a pain in the ass to remember the locations of, seeing as there's 7 of them. It might kill flow a little bit, and so it doesn't exactly add to the experience, but it doesn't necessarily harm it a whole bunch either. This map is definitely not a 10 out of 10, but it is still an amazing addition to the stages, and definitely has its place as being, objectively, probably the best stage of all time. So I have to be honest with you and myself and just everybody, because truly, Spellcasting Summits is a stage to remember and ultimately to never forget. I told you all that I would come to redeem myself. Feels good to see this screen again. This one was a little bit more exhausting for me to put together because there was just so much I had to cover. But it was fun nonetheless. I love talking about the stages with you guys, and most certainly some of my favorite ones amongst the batch. And these two both fall under that bill. So, thank you for watching as always, and I hope that I see you guys soon, and I don't take forever to produce another stage video.